you embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself.
Y'all been keeping up with this 50 Cent versus T.I. drama? If not, let me fill you guys in. So this whole thing started over a potential versus battle, 50 versus T.I. And at first 50 was down to do it, but allegedly he backed out and started acting a little funny about the whole situation.
Welcome back to BuzzBuster. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss daily videos. That's T.I. caught on camera locking his own son in a headlock at an NFL game, live on national TV. The clip spread like wildfire, and that shocking moment was just the beginning. Behind the scenes, things got even messier because T.I. sparked a feud with 50 Cent so personal, so wild, that what he did left the entire culture in disbelief. The drama shook hip-hop to its core. The rap game's on fire right now, and nobody saw this explosion coming. What started as a playful call-out between two certified legends turned into one of the ugliest, most disrespectful beefs the culture's seen in years. Mothers are being mentioned, wives getting dragged into the chaos, sons caught in the crossfire. Entire legacies are being roasted in group chats.
T.I. originally said the versus battle was supposed to be about celebrating catalogs, but now he questions 50's character and said he straight up doesn't respect it.
This isn't just rap beef anymore, it's all-out war. And just when everyone thought T.I. and 50 were ready to take this feud to the grave, T.I. flipped the script completely. Out of nowhere, he did the unthinkable. He actually reached out and apologized. But wait, we're not there yet, because the road to that apology is full of deleted posts, brutal diss tracks, ugly family drama, and violations that made even the toughest rap vets cringe. And if you think the 50 Cent drama was the end of the madness, oh no, it's far from over. You better keep watching, because this story is only getting wilder. The next chapter? It's all about T.I.'s own son, King Harris, who went hands-on in a moment the internet still can't stop replaying. That clip went viral so fast, it felt like the whole world hit replay at once. But to really understand how deep this runs, you gotta rewind all the way back to the early 2000s.
That's when things went left. 50 hopped on social media and posted a really bad photo of Tiny, T.I.'s wife. A lot of people are saying the picture looks edited, but either way, folks were like, what does Tiny have to do with this?
When both Tip and 50 were running the rap game from opposite coasts, ruling the charts and shaping hip-hop's golden era, T.I. was holding it down heavy in Atlanta, proudly repping Bankhead every step of the way, while 50 Cent came straight out of Queens, waving that South Jamaica flag high. Both were street certified, no label-made gangster image here. They earned every stripe the hard way. For years, it seemed like there was real mutual respect between them, crossing paths at award shows, music festivals, and big industry events, with no public tension, no shade, no drama. But beneath that calm surface, something was simmering. The energy between them was like a pressure cooker ready to explode. That's what happens when two alphas share the same jungle, both believing they running, and neither built to play second place. In hip-hop, your status ain't just about your hits, it's about who moves the culture, who keeps their name ringing, and who's got the streets behind them. The unspoken question of who truly outranked who hung in the air like a dark cloud, ready to burst open at any moment. Then came the Versus era, when fans were starving for iconic matchups, and T.I. dropped a straight bombshell. He claimed that during a promo run in Los Angeles, he and 50 made a private handshake deal. According to Tip, the plan was simple.
From there, King Harris, T.I.'s son, entered the chat and said, stop playing with his mama. He basically took to Instagram defending his mom and telling 50 Cent to stop playing with her, and he even mentioned 50 Cent's dead mom and said to dig her up.
T.I. would call 50 out publicly, 50 would accept, and the fans would finally get the legendary face-off they'd been dreaming about. It was supposed to be epic. Two heavyweight catalogs stacked with anthems going hit for hit, bar for bar, in a battle that would go down in hip-hop history. This was meant to be one of those defining moments that locks your legacy forever. But when the time came to make it happen, Tip says the line went dead silent. No reply, no confirmation, nothing but crickets. In this game, that kind of silence hits deep, especially when you expected someone to stand tall beside you, 10 toes down, ready for war. That wasn't just a letdown, that was a straight-up violation of the code. By early 2026, T.I. had clearly reached his breaking point. He pulled up to Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, and what came out of his mouth wasn't no slick subliminal. It was a full-blown call-out. You could hear the frustration that had been building for years pouring out of his tone. This wasn't about clout or clicks. This was personal. For months, timelines, blogs, and every hip-hop page had been spinning rumors and posting cryptic messages. But T.I. didn't hide behind that. He went live on a national platform and told the world straight up that Curtis 50 Cent Jackson was ducking the smoke and letting respect slide. And 50, he clapped back fast.
After that, 50 responded the way 50 does, by trolling. He posted memes, reposted videos, and now T.I. hopped in the booth.
Almost instantly, he hopped on Instagram and started throwing shots, posting old clips from T.I.'s court appearances and dropping a slick meme styled like a fake PSA, joking, "Forget verses, let's do the stay away challenge and keep our distance." He slapped a big LOL on it, classic 50, turning his rival into a punchline before a single bar even dropped. But T.I. wasn't laughing, not even close. 50 took it a step further and called Tip King Rat on Instagram, dragging up those old snitching rumors that had haunted T.I. since his 2007 federal firearms plea deal. That move didn't just stir the pot, it reopened one of the darkest chapters in T.I.'s career right in front of millions of fans.
And in hip-hop, getting labeled a rat? That's worse than being called irrelevant. That stain follows you forever, no matter how many platinum plaques hang on your wall. But Tep wasn't about to wear that title in silence. Not this time. He fired back hard, making it clear who the real rat was, saying he had the paperwork to back it up. Then he threw down the gauntlet, telling 50 to either lace up the gloves and step in the ring or stay quiet and live scared. The internet went into a frenzy watching the two go back and forth online, but deep down, everybody knew the real damage wasn't happening in the comments. It was gonna come on wax. And when it did, Tip made sure the whole world heard every word loud and clear. On February 22nd, he sat down on $1 million worth of game and spilled everything, every detail, every private convo, every piece of the story. He laid it all out, how he and 50 had that behind-the-scenes agreement, how they planned the showdown, and how once Tip made it public, 50 suddenly acted like none of it ever happened. The betrayal cut deep, and the fans could feel it. This wasn't just two rappers trading disses. This was pride, respect, and legacy on the line, and neither man looked ready to back down. To Tip, that wasn't just weak, that was a straight-up flaw in character. But T.I. wasn't finished yet. The very next day, February 23rd, he came back swinging hard, teasing fans with his first diss snippet titled War, making it clear he was ready for battle. Just hours later, he dropped the full track, the right one, and that's when things exploded. Those bars hit like a wrecking ball, sharp, personal, and surgical. Tip didn't just question 50's toughness, he went for the whole image that made Curtis Jackson a global powerhouse. On that track, he painted 50 as nothing more than a meme page boss, a social media troll hiding behind his phone screen instead of stepping up like a real heavyweight. But he didn't stop there. The lyrics went deep into dangerous territory. In one of the most controversial lines, T.I. took a jab at 50 Cent's late mother, and that move shook the entire culture to its core. That's a line even the toughest rap veterans refused to cross, and the internet erupted. Half the timeline praised Tip for going bar for bar with one of rap's coldest verbal assassins, while the other half tore into him, saying he went too far by disrespecting the dead. It wasn't just a diss track anymore. It felt darker, more personal, and way past what hip-hop was ready for. If Tip's track was an earthquake, then what 50 did next was the aftershock that turned the whole situation nuclear. Out of nowhere, 50 hit Instagram with a harsh, unflattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny, and dropped a caption warning him to keep my name out your mouth.
T.I. dropped a diss track aimed directly at 50 Cent. In the song, he says something along the lines that 50 Cent isn't as tough as his son.
That single post flipped the whole script. In an instant, an innocent woman got dragged into the chaos, breaking one of the oldest unspoken rules in hip-hop. You don't bring family into the beef. ever. From that moment, the situation stopped being about rap. It turned deeply personal. And that's when KingHarris, T.I. and Tiny's son, stepped right into the fire with his heart on his sleeve and rage in his voice. Nobody expected it, but King hopped on Instagram Live, voice trembling with emotion, and spoke his truth. He said, "Y'all was raised different. I'm not raised like that." His message was raw and real, no filter, no hesitation. You could feel how much he meant every word. Coming after his mama was the one line that could never be crossed, not by anyone. And King made it known that disrespecting Tiny wasn't just rap games or internet trolling. It was personal, and it came with consequences. The energy shifted instantly. The beef had spilled far beyond the bars, and now it was family business, live for the world to see. Then, King took things to a place no one saw coming. In the heat of the moment, he fired off a response that stopped the internet cold. He told 50 to tell your mama to dig her up and post a picture that looks better than mama. The entire timeline froze. Jaws dropped everywhere. A young man telling one of the biggest entertainment icons alive to bring up his late mother for comparison? That was brutal. Vicious, almost unbelievable. It was raw, unfiltered, and it showed exactly how far this feud had gone. This wasn't rap beef anymore. This was real emotion spilling out for the whole world to see. The entire culture could feel the shift. That line between music and real life had been completely erased. But King didn't back down. He came back even harder, doubling down with pure passion that made it clear this wasn't about fame, followers, or going viral. This was a son standing up for his mother. You could hear the hurt in every word he spoke. This wasn't some clout-chasing moment or rehearsed bars from a studio session. This was real pain, a young man protecting the woman who raised him, no matter the cost. And of course, 50 Cent fired back the only way he knows how, with memes. He dropped a post comparing KingHarris to Pepe the Frog and threw shade at the whole family, calling them ugly. It was cold, it was ruthless, and it was classic 50, flipping someone's deepest pain into viral entertainment, like only he can.
That move sent the internet into total chaos. Comment sections lit up, reposts exploded, and everyone had something to say. Even Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother, stepped in publicly to defend Tiny, showing just how wide this drama had spread. At that point, it wasn't just hip-hop heads watching, the whole celebrity world had tuned in. That moment gave the feud a level of cultural weight nobody expected. It wasn't just rap beef anymore, it had become something bigger than hip-hop. Every major outlet was covering it. Every fan was refreshing timelines, waiting to see what would happen next. The tension was so thick you could feel it. Nobody knew if the next post would be a joke or a breaking headline. The energy had gone from entertainment to real concern. Like this might actually go beyond the internet. And then came the twist, and it was wild. By February 24th, 50 completely switched gears. Out of nowhere, he dropped the memes and stepped straight into boss mode, while T.I. was still in the booth dropping diss tracks and defending his family.
So what was supposed to be just a versus rap battle ended up getting extremely personal, and the internet has a lot to say about it.
50 made a power move in a totally different lane. He hopped online and announced that he had just sold out a Broadway production of Joe Turner's Come and Gone, flexing hard with a shocked face emoji and a caption that read like a jab. While you're in the booth recording songs nobody asked for, I'm out here selling out shows you can't even get tickets to. That post flipped the energy instantly. It wasn't about street talk or mic battles anymore. 50 was reminding everyone that he's not just a rapper, he's a mogul. And just like that, the feud had turned from lyrical warfare to a full-on clash of legacies. That move was the ultimate flex. No bars, no hooks, just pure success. It was a silent but deadly strike, the kind that hit harder than any diss track ever could. 50 didn't just clap back, he flipped the entire game. He turned the beef into something bigger than lyrics or street talk. Suddenly, it wasn't about who could spit the hardest, it was about who still mattered in 2026.
And that's the kind of question I probably didn't want the world asking out loud. But King Harris wasn't letting up, not for a second. He jumped back online, riding for his dad all over again, putting 50's long history of beefs under the spotlight. From Lil Kim to Kanye, from Ja Rule to Floyd, King reminded everyone that 50's been clashing with people his whole career. He painted 50 as a man who starts smoke just for the thrill, a career instigator who uses his platform not out of principle, but for entertainment. And then came February 25th, 2026, the day everything flipped. The moment that turned this feud from internet drama into one of the most unforgettable moments hip-hop's ever seen. No warning, no caption, no explanation. Out of nowhere, 50 Cent wiped every single T.I.-related post off his Instagram. Gone, deleted, vanished like it never existed. Every meme, every diss, every troll post scrubbed clean. The internet completely lost its mind. Fans went full-on detective mode, dissecting every move, every story update. Was 50 waving the white flag? Was he reloading for something bigger? Did his legal team step in? Or was something major happening behind the scenes that none of us could see? Because let's be real, 50 Cent doesn't fall back. This is the same man who went to war with Ja Rule, Rick Ross, Floyd Mayweather, even whole labels, and laughed through every round. His entire reputation is built on never backing down, always pressing the gas, never letting up. So for him to suddenly erase all the receipts from a beef he was proudly fueling just hours before, that was one of the wildest, most unexpected plot twists modern rap has ever witnessed. And that's exactly where the story flips. This was the turning point, the part that brought you to this very moment. Because according to sources close to both camps, T.I. made a move that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. After days of brutal back and forth, diss tracks, memes, and some of the most savage verbal shots hip-hop's ever seen, Tip reportedly reached out to 50's camp directly, not through Instagram, not through PR teams or mutual industry plugs, straight up, phone to phone. And according to people familiar with that call, the tone was nothing like the man who'd been barking about war and smoke for weeks straight. It wasn't rage, it wasn't shade, it was real, calm, grown, and heavy with truth. Something had clearly shifted. The same man who'd been ready to tear the internet apart was now ready to talk, not fight. And that quiet move from Tip, it changed everything. Gone was the fire and fury, replaced by something no one expected. Humility. The word spreading through every insider circle was simple but shocking. Apology. But don't get it twisted, this wasn't some groveling career-ending move with hands folded and head down. Nah, this was different. This was strategic, the move of a grown man who'd finally taken a step back to see the bigger picture.
According to sources, T.I. admitted that things had gone way too far, that both sides had crossed lines that never should have been touched, dragging mothers, living or gone, into a rap feud between two legends with decades of legacy behind them. That wasn't power, that was pain, and deep down, Tip knew it. This wasn't weakness, it was awareness. And in a culture built on ego, pride, and saving face, that kind of self-check might have been the boldest move of all. Tip had already made his stance on respect crystal clear during all the chaos. He said it straight up. He didn't respect 50 anymore and didn't even want to share a stage with him. But there's a difference between losing respect for someone's actions and launching a war that ends up burning everything down in the process. See, T.I. isn't new to pressure. This is a man who's fought federal cases, done time, and rebuilt himself from the ground up more than once. He's faced real battles, not just rap beef and social media trolling. And somewhere in that storm, it hit him. This wasn't just about 50's reputation. This was about to torch his own world. The drama was pulling King deeper into chaos, dragging Tiny further into the public fire, and putting his whole circle at risk. For a man who's built his entire image on protecting his family, that math just didn't add up anymore. Sometimes, being the realest man in the room means protecting your peace instead of your pride. And when you've spent your whole life being the rock for everyone around you, you can't afford to let ego tear down the very house you built.
Now look at the timing. 50's mass post-deletion lined up perfectly with this behind-the-scenes shift. Think about it. If you're 50 Cent and the same man who's been throwing lyrical grenades for weeks suddenly reaches out with an olive branch, you don't hit back with another meme. You clear the field. You wipe the digital slate clean to make room for whatever's coming next. Peace, business, or just a much-needed pause from chaos. And the proof? It's in the silence. Since February 25th, neither side has fired a single public shot. No sneak disses, no subliminals, no shade. For two men who had been posting non-stop every day, that kind of quiet was deafening. Something definitely changed behind the scenes, and the whole culture could feel it. Of course, the skeptics had something to say too, and honestly, you can't even blame them. They're claiming this whole saga might be one giant setup, a calculated promo rollout for T.I.'s long-awaited Kill the King album. From the first Versus call-out to the savage diss tracks to the shocking apology, could all of this have been part of a master plan? Some say yes, that Tip just orchestrated one of the most genius publicity plays hip-hop's seen in years. Others say no, that this was real emotion, real pain, and a real moment of growth for two men who've carried the weight of their cities on their backs. Either way, one thing's for sure, something major went down between these two behind closed doors, and whether it's peace, strategy, or just exhaustion from the chaos, both sides finally went quiet, and that silence speaks louder than any diss track ever could. Fans caught the timing instantly, and they weren't wrong to raise an eyebrow. The second T.I. announced his final album, a sudden beef with 50 Cent exploded out of nowhere, almost like it had been scripted. It felt like a magic trick straight out of the industry's marketing playbook. And honestly, that theory makes sense. Because let's keep it real, the music industry has been running on manufactured drama for decades. Fake feuds, staged controversies, strategic leaks, all designed to boost streams, grab headlines, and move albums. And if there's one thing we know about Tip, it's that he's smart enough to play chess while everyone else is still trying to learn checkers. T.I. knows this business inside and out. Every headline, every trending hashtag, every heated comment, that's all free promo. Even the chaos becomes part of the campaign when your album hasn't dropped yet. So yeah, maybe the timing was a little too perfect, but whether that apology came from the heart or from a smart PR move, it still meant something. Because what we almost never see in hip-hop is a man who's winning publicly, deciding to step back instead of pushing things off the cliff. That's rare and real. By February 20th, the Black Wall Street Times had already reported how deeply the feud had become, and if history has taught hip-hop anything, it's that when beef gets too personal, it rarely ends with a handshake, it ends in tragedy. So for Tip to choose communication over conflict, that might have been the realest move of his entire career. Because truth be told, it takes way more heart to de-escalate than it does to keep throwing shots. But here's the twist. That whole 50 Cent saga wasn't the only time T.I. found himself in a situation that went from tense to explosive. Long before the Versus call-outs, the diss tracks, the deleted posts, and the public apologies, there was another viral moment that showed a completely different side of T.I.'s life. This one had nothing to do with rival rappers or industry politics. It was deeper, way deeper. It was about something every man struggles with at some point, the complicated, emotional, real relationship between a father and his son.
Because what went down at that Atlanta Falcons game on November 26, 2023 is still being talked about to this day. Not because it was scandalous, but because it hit something universal. It showed the raw, unfiltered side of fatherhood, the push and pull between a dad trying to raise his son and a young man desperate to prove he's already grown. That night was supposed to be just another family outing, Falcons versus Saints, a chill Sunday in Atlanta. Earlier that day, T.I. was on social media posting clips, showing love to his kids, hyping up the game, just pure dad energy. Everything looked fun, lighthearted, full of family vibes. But nobody knew that in just a few hours, that same family moment would flip completely upside down. What happened next inside that stadium, captured on camera for millions to see, revealed more about pride, parenting, and pain than any diss track ever could. Everything looked picture perfect at first. A famous family chilling in a luxury suite at Mercedes-Benz Stadium watching the Falcons like Atlanta royalty. But behind those smiles, a storm was brewing, and the world was about to see it unfold live in real time.
What started as a normal game night was about to turn into one of the most unforgettable father-son moments in hip-hop history. A moment that showed just how thin the line can be between love, frustration, and legacy when you're raising a son under the spotlight. Then, boom, KingHarris hit that go live button on Instagram, and within seconds, the entire vibe flipped. What the world saw next wasn't some chill father and son moment. It was real, heated, and raw. The argument went from words to hands faster than anyone could even process. That camera wasn't supposed to catch it. Or maybe it was, because King made that choice. He broadcasted a private, emotional moment that ended up defining how millions of people now view his relationship with his pops, T.I. And once that red light came on, there was no turning it off. No edits, no takebacks, just pure, unfiltered emotion between a father and a son. T.I. wasn't just yelling to prove a point, he was trying to teach one. His words cut right into the heart of a generational divide between a man who built everything from nothing and a son who grew up surrounded by everything his father fought to earn. On that live, T.I. hit King with a question that sliced straight through the ego. Had he ever really tasted struggle? Had he ever felt that hunger, that grind, those sleepless nights that shaped T.I. into the man he became? That now infamous Roach question wasn't random. It was a test, a challenge to King's talk of toughness, a way of saying, you can't borrow my pain just to look hard online. T.I. was reminding his son that the streets he came from weren't some movie set. They were real, dangerous, and unforgiving. The same blocks that made him a legend could break someone who didn't truly understand what that life demanded. He wasn't just talking to King, he was sending a message to every young person out there chasing clout through fake struggle. T.I. was calling out the obsession with street credibility, the idea that you can wear hardship like a designer brand without ever earning it. Because in his eyes, visiting the trenches and surviving the trenches are two totally different worlds, and one doesn't give you the right to claim the other. His message came through loud and clear. In T.I.'s mind, King's tough guy act wasn't survival, it was costume play, a performance, a front, something built for likes and comments, not built from pain and experience. And the wildest part, millions of people were watching that moment live, watching a father try to strip the illusion away from his son in real time. It wasn't just a family argument, it was a lesson, a generational collision, and a brutally honest glimpse into what happens when fame, pride, and family love all crash together on camera. For a young man trying to carve out his own lane and step out from under the massive shadow of his father, hearing that in front of the whole world, that was the spark that blew everything wide open. That Instagram Live didn't just show a disagreement, it showed a generational collision over pride, identity, and what it really means to earn it. The son who refused to bow met the father who refused to bend, and the entire world watched the crown slip right before their eyes. The clip hit the internet like a bomb. Within minutes, timelines were flooded. Reposts, reactions, think pieces, wild takes flying everywhere. Everyone had an opinion. Some said it was just regular father and son tension caught on camera, while others swore it exposed deep cracks in a family that always looked picture perfect online. No matter which side people took, one thing was clear. This wasn't gossip, this was real life, and it hit a nerve deep in the culture. That image of King in a headlock instantly became meme material, but behind the jokes and hashtags, you could see the pain in both their faces. A father fighting to be respected and a son desperate to be understood.
This wasn't about fame, money, or music. This was about pride colliding with love, live in front of millions. And just like that, the Harris family became the most talked about household in hip-hop. What made it even more explosive was how both of them responded afterward. King jumped right back online, standing firm and speaking his truth. He made it clear he wasn't about to let anybody, not even his dad, play with him like that. He doubled down, saying he wasn't a kid anymore and deserved to be treated like a man.
His tone was a mix of hurt and defiance, that raw energy that only comes from someone who feels cornered and misunderstood. Meanwhile, T.I. tried to keep it cool on his end, brushing it off publicly with humor at first, calling it family business. But everyone watching could tell this one stung, because this wasn't some random internet troll testing him. This was his own son, a boy who grew up surrounded by everything his father fought to build, now challenging that same man's authority in front of the entire world. And the internet? They weren't letting it go. Talk shows, podcasts, gossip blogs, everybody jumped in with takes. Some people said Tip went too far, putting hands on his son. Others said King needed to show more respect. Even folks outside the culture had something to say, turning a private family moment into a full-blown national debate about parenting, masculinity, and the modern meaning of tough love. But what made this moment different from any other celebrity family blow-up was how real it felt. There were no PR filters, no scripted apologies, no reality show edits. Just the raw truth of a father and son clashing in public over love, legacy, and respect. It was messy, emotional, and deeply human. The kind of scene that made people everywhere stop and think about their own families, their own pride, and how far they'd go to protect both. There was no PR polish, no scripted apology, just raw, uncomfortable emotion. And that's exactly what made it so powerful. Because behind the flashy clothes and designer fits, what people really saw was something every family can relate to. That messy tug of war between a parent trying to guide and a kid trying to grow. It was real life, unfiltered, imperfect, and painfully human. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Just a few days later, T.I. and King were spotted again, smiling, standing side by side like nothing had ever happened. The photo dropped out of nowhere. No caption, no explanation, no statement, just a picture. And instantly, it broke the internet all over again. Fans were split. Nobody knew what to believe. Was this peace? Was it just damage control? Or was it something deeper? A father and son finally realizing that love hits harder than ego. Whatever it was, that single moment spoke volumes. It proved something that cuts deeper than fame, deeper than clout, deeper than headlines. It proved that family still stands, even when it's bruised. Flawed, stubborn, loud, but real. And maybe that's why people couldn't look away. Because in a world of fake storylines, edited apologies, and filter-perfect lives, T.I. and King gave everyone something different, something raw, something human. They showed that even kings bleed when pride collides with love. And sometimes, the hardest battles aren't fought in the streets or in studios. They're fought at home. What went down in that Falcon suite became bigger than just a viral clip. It became a defining moment for what family looks like in the social media era. Because behind every live stream, behind every trending topic, there's still a heartbeat. Messy, emotional, and real. We live in a time where every private argument is just one tap away from becoming public drama, and the world watched it unfold as TIandKingHarris stood his ground and refused to back down. He didn't bite his tongue, didn't play quiet, and didn't tuck it away for later like people expect a celebrity kid to do. Nah, he matched his father's energy with his own, and from the way that tension hit the air, you could tell this wasn't their first clash. There were layers to this moment, deep ones. You could feel it. This wasn't just about words flying in the heat of an argument. It was about a question that's been chasing King ever since the world learned his name. Is TIandKingHarris truly his own man, or is he just living inside the fortress that his father's money built? That's the battle he's been fighting. The silver spoon talk, the Nepo baby label, the whispers that everything he's got was handed to him instead of earned. Those are the kinds of cuts that don't fade, especially when they're coming not from strangers online, but from your own father. And when the one person whose approval means everything starts questioning your identity, those words slice way deeper than any diss track ever could. You could hear it in King's voice. That shaky mix of anger, frustration, and heartbreak all crashing together at once. He wasn't trying to win with logic or calm words. His emotions were sprinting faster than his thoughts could keep up. He kept looping his phrases, stumbling over sentences, because he wasn't fighting to prove a point. He was fighting to be seen. He knows exactly who his father is, a man who's walked through fire, faced federal charges, rebuilt his name, and stood tall through battles most couldn't imagine. But King also knows himself, or at least he's trying to. He's a young man desperate to carve out his own path, to show the world he's more than just his last name, more than just T.I.'s son. And in that live moment, with millions watching, when his dad called him out, challenged him, and basically said, "You're not built like me," that sense of identity started to crack. The weight of expectation came crashing down right there on camera. The stuttering, the overlapping words, the shaky voice, that wasn't weakness, that was real emotion. That's what it sounds like when pride collides with pain. Because when the person you love most, the one whose validation you've been chasing your entire life, looks you in the eye and tells you that you're not who you think you are, it doesn't just sting, it breaks something inside you. And it broke in real time, in front of millions watching from their phones, their timelines, their living rooms. It wasn't just a viral clip. It was a live snapshot of what generational pressure, legacy, and love look like when they all crash into each other at once. And that was the moment the whole world realized this wasn't just a father scolding his son. This was a full-on collision between generations, legacies, and love tangled in ego. A real-life reminder that even the strongest family bonds can shake when pride starts shouting louder than understanding. I stand on business. Those 4 words became the defining line of the whole situation. It wasn't just something King said, it became his anthem, his declaration of independence, his way of telling the world and his father that he's not soft, not spoiled, and definitely not just some privileged kid pretending to be tough. That one sentence carried everything. His pride, his frustration, and his hunger to finally be taken seriously. Every young man eventually reaches that point where he looks his father in the eye and says, "I'm my own person." For most, it happens behind closed doors. But for King, it happened live, with the entire internet watching, screenshots flying, reactions flooding in real time. What started as a heated argument turned physical in a matter of seconds. Someone threw a shove, and T.I. reacted on pure instinct, grabbing his son and locking him in a headlock that would soon go viral worldwide. It was a move fueled by equal parts love, fear, and frustration. The kind of grip a father uses when words stop working, when emotions run hotter than logic, and the only thing left is raw instinct. In that split second, T.I. wasn't the rapper, the mogul, or the celebrity. He was just a dad trying to hold his family together as everything spiraled out of control. That 6-second clip became one of the most replayed moments of 2023. Millions of views, endless debates, non-stop think pieces. And you could see everything written across Tip's face. The exhaustion, the anger, the heartbreak. He wasn't trying to hurt his son. He was trying to protect him. Trying to stop King from saying or doing something that would take a bad moment and turn it into something unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. But the optics were brutal. A Grammy-winning rapper, a man who's faced down federal charges, industry pressure, and street beefs, now caught on camera grappling with his own child in a luxury suite at an NFL game surrounded by fans with phones out from every angle. That single image flipped the entire narrative instantly. Suddenly, this wasn't about music or family pride. It became a global headline. Commentators dissected it, fans argued over it, and the internet turned it into an instant meme factory. In the chaos, Tiny, desperate to calm things down, jumped in between them, pulling father and son apart before things could go any further. You could see the emotion in her face, part motherly instinct, part heartbreak, watching 2 people she loves most clash in a way no parent ever wants to see. That moment, frozen in clips, screenshots, and headlines, wasn't just a viral family blow-up. It became a mirror, showing how messy and human even the most powerful families can be when love, pride, and legacy all crash into each other under the brightest lights imaginable. For a split moment, the whole suite went silent. That heavy, awkward quiet, the kind that only hits after something explodes, filled the air. The energy shifted instantly, from shouting to shock, like everyone in that room suddenly realized just how far things had gone. But King, He wasn't finished speaking his truth. Not yet. Minutes later, he jumped on Instagram stories and dropped posts that dripped with pain, pride, and pure defiance. He wrote about how nobody could run up on him, and even hinted that some of his own family saw him as a mistake. That hit deep. It wasn't just anger. It was heartbreak spilling out in real time.
You could tell this wasn't just about that night. It was years of tension, pressure, and misunderstanding finally boiling over. It was King's breaking point, a perfect storm of rebellion, hurt, and identity crisis all crashing together under the brightest spotlight imaginable. And the whole world was watching, frozen between sympathy, shock, and disbelief, realizing this wasn't just viral family drama. This was a father and son tangled in a war between love and legacy, playing out live for millions to see. Those posts didn't stay up for long. King deleted them fast, but by then, the internet had already done what it does best: screenshot, archive, and blast them everywhere. Within hours, every gossip page, every hip-hop blog, every meme account had the receipts. The story was everywhere. When T.I. finally responded, his tone was cool, calm, and calculated. Pure tip professionalism. He told the world straight up to mind his business. He made it clear what happened between him and his son was family business, not fan business, and no amount of online noise or speculation was gonna change that. But even with that, people wouldn't stop talking. Comment sections were on fire, podcasts were analyzing every frame, and old reports started resurfacing, especially one from back in 2022 about an alleged run-in at a Waffle House. Another tense father-son moment, another sign of a pattern that had been building for years, a cycle of pride, frustration, and love spinning in circles between two men who clearly care about each other but refuse to bend. At the heart of it all sat one undeniable truth. King's hunger for independence and T.I.'s need for authority had never been fully resolved. It was the same storm repeating itself, generation versus generation, pride versus patience, love versus ego. Even after being put in that headlock in front of millions, King didn't fold. He stayed defiant, still standing on business, still claiming his authenticity, still determined to prove that he's real on his own terms. That kind of fire, that refusal to bow, even to his own pops, said everything about where King's head was at. He wasn't backing down, not from the memes, not from the critics, and definitely not from the weight of his last name. It was messy, emotional, and raw, but it was also human, because what people were watching wasn't a perfect family break-in, it was a real one, trying to understand each other, under the kind of pressure most of us could never imagine. And even through all the chaos, one thing became clear: this was bigger than fame, bigger than image, bigger than hip-hop. This was about a son fighting to be seen, and a father trying not to lose control of the world he built. And if you've been locked in through all this madness, hit that subscribe button right now. We've got more wild stories, deep dives, and real moments coming that you don't want to miss.